Oh my gosh! Thanks for bringing that up, Josh.
Ducky got shot by her dad.
Yeah,
the real life
voice
actress.
Oh,
Yeah,
she was like
murder suicide. It was terrible.
I'm so sorry to hear that, but I just pictured in the thing is like out of the blue, this dinosaur comes over, pulls out a shotgun, and just starts unloading.
I'm your dad, Ducky.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
they had that for
that
the
was-
girl with All Dogs Go to Heaven too.
It's the same voice.
Oh, is that the same one?
Yeah, it's the same voice.
Oh.
It's the
back
same
in
girl.
the 80s.
She was also in, I think, Poltergeist. I think she was a little girl. in Poltergeist. I could be wrong.
Oh, do you know another show that I've cried at? Green Mile.
See, now
I cry with all the prison guards when they have to
that
put
is
down
true.
coffee.
I don't know if I ever cried with that. It's definitely one of those like, oh, I feel afterward. I feel awful watching that show and like emotionally toiled.
It's one of those shows that like I can imagine in the movie theater where it's just dead quiet and like people just leave. No words or vocalize. You just
What is the most recent movie that you cried to?
like recent. Is it
As in like a recent release.
conference?
Snickers. This is a Snickers commercial. Is that what Josh you cried at?
The Snickers commercial.
I don't know if Snickers.
To be honest, I haven't watched a lot of recent movies.
I'm trying to think of like, it's mostly animated movies that get me anymore. I don't know if there's a lot
Jack
of like
Black singing the goodbye song to his dog in Minecraft.
No, like because I knew it was a Jared Hess movie, and so just because of that one fact, I was like, "You,
He's fine.
Jared Hess, come on. When's Napoleon Dynamite gonna come in?"
Not my twat.
Yeah, and freaking idiot. But I mean, you think about what you just said there, and then think about the Minecraft movie when they made a tater tot breakfast pizza.
I immediately, as soon as I saw that, I'm like,
Literally,
oh, yeah.
I was like, okay, Jared Hess, you're not being as subtle as you think you are. You.
I don't think I've really cried in movies.
Well, let's get it started right now, Josh. You're gonna cry during this podcast at least once.
Mostly because I can't remember what we're talking about.
Okay.
Welcome to the Twaddling Along podcast, everyone. Welcome to the Twaddling Along podcast.
I hurt my kidney.
I am your host, your ghost host. Do you guys realize before we get
there's no way out.
before we get going, do you realize that we are 2 weeks away from our year?
Are we really?
Yes.
Oh my crap.
We're going to have to do a special, and
We will have to next time the human condition will have to be a special year.
what's it like growing up as brothers? We should do that.
Ooh, there you go.
Ooh. Thanks.
No, let's not because I'm going to not be painted in the best of pictures.
No, we
It'll be
looked
good
up
for
to
the
you.
rest of us, Danny.
We looked up to
I'm
you.
not in an emotional place to be blamed for all of your problems.
You would not.
Only 95%. It's
Yeah,
fine.
whatever. Oh, where was I? We're twaddling along. Blah
You
blah blah
introduced
blah.
yourself.
I introduced myself. Person on my left. What's your name, Josh? Yeah, that's it. Say hi, Josh. And the person on my right, that's Jake.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
I'm Jake. And if you're looking for a podcast filled with professional wisdom,
Oh no,
you've
AI.
come to the wrong place.
Oh, I thought it was going to be one of those AI things again. I was kind of excited for a minute.
I do have one of those for the later if you want.
Ugh.
I just had it write it. I didn't think I was going to write it,
Danny-
but now that you've said that, I want to read it.
Do you know the movie that made me cry?
What?
Sarzamin.
I have no idea what that is.
What is
It's
Sarzamin?
a Bollywood movie.
Okay.
I'm just totally joking. I just
Dun,
looked
dun,
up
dun,
Bollywood.
dun, 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 dun.
I will be honest. I don't think I've ever actually watched a Bollywood movie.
Does what was that one soccer movie?
Soccer?
Yeah.
You thinking that I would have watched something with soccer as the
Bend It
main
Like
theme?
Beckham. Wasn't that considered a Bollywood show?
Bend It Like Beckham?
Yeah.
I have no idea what that is.
Oh,
Never heard of it.
well.
Did you know they ripped off Forrest Gump
From
in Bollywood? This was like a year or two ago. They made a Forrest Gump sequel.
oh my gosh. Well, I know that the writer of Forrest Gump hated Forrest Gump so much that he refused to sell the next because Forrest Gump is like a whole book series. There's
Yeah.
many Forrest Gumps.
And I learned that.
Oh,
it's
you mean the author of Forrest Gump?
Yeah, the author.
Oh, it's a bit like I thought the screenwriters liked it a lot.
No, the author himself of the book Forrest Gump hated it.
Really?
Yeah. And said that he
Interesting.
wouldn't allow. And I don't know if he hated the film or he hated the process or.
Maybe that was
Well, I mean, the film is way different than the book.
Yeah, it's a lot more feel goody, where the
Yeah.
book is kind of painted more as here's a doofus who just succeeds in everything. Where
Yeah, he ends up in like Singapore.
where the movie is like, no, this is overcoming a mental challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So the author is just a jerk, is really what it comes down to. Boo, whoever wrote Forrest Gump. Hey, we still haven't even got anywhere close to introducing what we're talking about. So, Jake, why don't you introduce us with AI?
Wait, I have like 3 different devices in front
Ooh,
of
I
me.
like it.
So you actually want me to use the AI one?
Use the AI introduction to introduce what we're talking about today.
Today, we're diving deep into the weird, the wild, and the wonderfully strange world of Utah's legendary monsters and myths. Forget what you think
Danny
about
McBride.
this
No, I'm just
state.
kidding.
Danny's belly button. Okay.
Oh, that's scary.
It is a cavern.
Though he does have it covered with a Band-Aid.
The bottomless pit.
If you guys are wondering why he did that, please refer to our Phobia podcast.
Dun, 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 dun,
Dun,
dun.
I don't know why you
Why
did
was that the main
I
one?
I have no idea. Shave and a haircut. Okay, sorry.
Beneath the seemingly serene mountains and red rock canyons, there are creatures and cryptids lurking in the shadows. And in some surprisingly salty lakes, even though we only have one. I don't know why I said that. I'm one of your hosts, Jacob McBride.
Oh, yes.
So, and this would have just gone off with whatever you said. And then the first co-host would have said, ready to get spooky.
Oh, so this is like a full, like...
Sorry, here, pass that over.
We should have printed
Ready to
this
get
out.
spooky?
I would have 100% do this.
Okay, Josh, you need to say, or just really, really confused about what a water devil is.
What is a water devil?
No, there you go.
What is a water devil?
That's exactly where we're starting today. Our first tale takes place in the tranquil waters of Ber-a-lake.
Dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun.
So, Ber-a-lake is a very popular place.
So I like to point out that this is supposed to be like this fear-rendering podcast, and you guys are ruining
terrified.
Dun, 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 dun.
Straight up terrified.
it. So anyway, for those of you who don't know what Ber-a-lake is, it's a lake. End of story.
And it doesn't have any bears
It did have bears at
It
one time,
did.
though.
until I
There,
whooped them out of
actually,
there.
I mean, we can quickly talk about that really quick.
Let's talk
There
about
was a
Ber-a-lake for
recent bear sighting at Ber-a-lake. Did you know that? Over where the scout camp used to be on the east side of Ber-a-lake.
Yeah,
It was just a few weeks ago.
it's because there's no scouts there anymore.
I if I was a bear, I wouldn't be anywhere near a bunch of Boy Scouts either.
They're like, hey, look, a bear, let's go poke it in the butt.
Seriously, that's exactly what I would do as a scout.
So yes, the Ber-a-lake is a lake that is on the border of Utah and Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
It is considered the Caribbean of the Rockies because it has a very nice blue color to it.
Yeah,
Now,
turquoise
Jake,
almost.
what are the Rockies?
The Rockies,
For our viewers outside of Utah.
they're a group of films created by
Sylvester Stallone. Adrian!
It's the eye of the tiger.
So when they all came together, they developed this large rocky terrain,
Nice.
and he still mourns there today.
Did you guys know that it's limestone that gives the color to Ber-a-lake? I had no idea.
Yeah.
Neither. Did you know that the Rocky Mountains is the same mountain range as the Andes Mountains in South America?
Oh, it's just like one continuous mountain
It is
range.
one. It's the
I think that's true for the Highland Mountains and the...
Highland.
Yeah, like in Scotland, the
Oh.
mountain ranges up in Scotland and the Appalachians or whatever it is.
You mean the
Appalachians.
Alps?
No, the Appalachians.
Dude, they're like, that would mean it's a circle.
Josh. No, it would mean that there's a thing that's called continental drift and Pangea that split the continents apart at one point.
Dude, I don't believe in that crap.
Josh,
Just kidding.
Josh is coming out on this one as a new world creationist.
No such thing, man.
So
Anyway,
Where were we?
we were talking about Ber-a-lake.
We were
Rockies.
now. Let's
Caribbean.
quickly state that this is probably one of my favorite places in the world. much to the dismay of my brothers because I bring it up constantly.
And literally,
well, I mean, we love it too. It's just that we're not as obsessed with it.
I'm obsessed.
That's the only place Jake goes.
That's the only place Jake, I think, is happy.
I am is probably one of the only places I'm happy. And it's not even swimming in the water. I just like being up there. So
that is Jake's getaway.
It is.
Now, for anyone who's up there right now, get the heck out of here.
Go back to California. We have family connection up in Ber-a-lake.
Yes, we do. And we're going to talk about it because...
You can't just point to people.
Josh just pointed very excitedly to me. I didn't know where we were going.
No, see, it was Pastor Danny who was like, "We have the thing," and then me, and then
Josh, we don't have the script in front of us.
Josh just struggled over.
Did I not forward it to you earlier?
I'm going to get this text in the next 5 minutes. By the way, 5 minutes ago, I was wanting you to know.
If I point to you, here's what I want you to say. No. So the very first inhabitants up in Ber-a-lake were the Shoshone tribes. And
we are not related to them.
We are not.
And we are not.
We are not. But what's important to understand about the Shoshone, because I think that we do need to, they're going to be brought up as we talk about the Ber-a-lake monster quite a bit.
Spoilers.
Is that the Shoshone had been in that area for a very, very long time, but they had a general distrust of the lake itself. They would fish, but they would not bathe in the lake, according to Shoshone tradition, and they would not stay near the lake during the nighttime. They would actually, their camps were farther north near like Montpelier. So the first actual like settlers after the Native Americans came in were our ancestors.
Yes, our dear friends who settled Paris, Idaho.
Thomas Minton.
Yep, Thomas.
And he had a friend that he worked under, and his name was Joseph C. Rich.
Yes.
Now, this Joseph C. Rich was a good man.
I mean, we can come out and say it. He was an apostle.
Yeah.
So for those people not familiar with the LDS tradition, he was a leader of the church and was actually called to settle the area.
He wasn't an apostle.
He absolutely was an apostle.
Charles C. Rich was the apostle.
Yes, you're right. Charles,
come on, get your church history.
His father, Joseph C. Rich's father, Charles Colson Rich, was an apostle.
Yep.
Now, Joseph C. Rich has been up there for a little bit, and he decides to write an article. This article is one that Danny actually found.
I did.
And I'm going to turn the time over to Danny to read it.
This is from the Deseret Evening News, August 3rd, 1868. And what's really funny about this is it doesn't actually start off talking about Ber-a-lake or the Ber-a-lake monster at all. It starts off talking about grasshoppers and how there's a lot of grasshoppers in the area, but the area is still good. But here is the correspondence of where he starts talking about the monster of Ber-a-lake. All lakes, caves, and dens have their legendary histories. Tradition loves to throw her magic wand over beautiful dells and lakes and people with them, fairies, giants, and monsters of various kinds. Ber-a-lake has also its monster to tell. And when I have told it, I will leave you to judge whether or not it merits or it's merely a tradition. The Shoshone say that there is a monster animal that lives in the lake that has captured and carried away Indians while in the lake swimming. But they say it has not been seen for many years, not since the buffalo inhabited the valley. They represent it being a serpent, but having legs, about 18 inches long, in which they sometimes crawl out of the water a short distance on the shore. They also say it spirits water upwards out of its mouth. Since the settlement of the valley, several persons have reported seeing a huge animal of some kind that they could not describe, but such persons have generally been alone when they saw it, and very little evidence has been attached to the matter until the monster in question had just about died out. 3 weeks ago, Mr. S.M. Johnson, who lives on the east side of the lake at a place called South Eden, was going to Round Valley, 6 miles to the south of the place, and within about halfway he saw something in the lake which at the time he thought to be a drowned person. The road being some little distance from the water's edge, he rowed to the beach, and as the waves were running pretty high, he thought it would soon wash into the shore. In a few minutes, 2 or 3 feet of some kind of animal that he had never seen before were raised out of the water. He did not see the body. He only the head and what was supposed to be a part of the neck. It had ears or bunches on the side of its head, nearly as large as a pint cup. The waves at the time washed over its head, and when it would throw water from its mouth or nose, it did not drift landward, but appeared stationary. With the exception of the turning of its head, Mr. Johnson thought the portion of the body must lie on the bottom of the lake, or it would have drifted with the actions of the water. This is Mr. Johnson's version that he told me. The next day, an animal of a monster kind was seen near the same place by a man and 3 women who said it was swimming when they first saw it. They represented it as being very large and say it swam with much faster than a horse could run on land. The recent discoveries again revealed that the monster in question, those who had seen it before brought it in their claims anew, and many people began to think the story was not altogether moonshine. On Sunday last, N.C. Davis and Alan Davis of St. Charles and Thomas Slight and J. Collins of Paris with 6 women were returning from Fish Haven. When about midway through the water at a named place, St. Charles, their attention was suddenly attracted to a peculiar motion of wave in the water about 3 miles distance. The lake was not enough, only a little disturbing at the light wind. Mr. Slight says he distinctly saw the sides of a very large animal that he would suppose to be no less than 90 feet in length. Mr. Davis don't think Davis, saw any part of the body, but is positive it must have been no less than 40 feet in length. Judging by the wave it rolled up on the side as it swam and the wake it left in the water. It was going south, and all agreed that it swam with a speed almost incredible to their senses. And it goes on and on. He reports a bunch of different people. And then he ends like this. I have already extended this letter beyond the limit I designed. The health of the people is good, and everything is satisfactory except the rushing, buzzing music of the everlasting grasshoppers as they waft themselves through the air. Frightened with our grain of milk, may they mash their brains out against the North Pole.
May they mash their brains out against the North Pole.
Like I said, he actually started this whole thing talking about grasshoppers and then went on this huge diatribe about this monster where he talks about all the people that have seen the monster and then ends about, I hope that all the grasshoppers may they mash their brains out against the North Pole.
You know, I think that should be our slogan here on the Twaddling Along podcast.
Mash your brains out against the North Pole.
Mash your brains out against the pole.
That is the original article, and I apologize because the print that I have is old.
Yep.
that I actually found, and it's from 1868, so a lot of the language is a little unfamiliar, but that's it.
Definitely humorous. So
it's based on humor, yeah.
So here you have, this article comes out, and people immediately are like fascinated with the idea. It stirs something amongst all the people in Salt Lake City and beyond. So much so that, they're sending news staff up there to talk with people. And at the time, everyone they talk to is pretty much saying, "Oh yeah, they're definitely, there's something up here." Yeah, that's how this is. So it garnered so much so that even Brigham Young, who was the leader at the time, sent them a large rope because he thought it would be really cool to catch it. Now, can you imagine going out in the middle of the water with a rope? I could just imagine someone up on a boat just twirling it around, really hoping they could catch something.
Now, I want to point out to people just some of the geography of Ber-a-lake. In compared, so the Great Salt Lake is only about 32 feet deep. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that. It's really shallow.
Yeah, it's very shallow.
Ber-a-lake, on the other hand, goes at the lowest depth is 208 feet. And it is continuously to get lower because it is on a fault line that is moving apart. So it was filled up. It was an earthquake that caused the lake to fill up thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. And so it's just getting deeper and deeper. And so in reality, there's a huge possibility that there is something lurking in the depths of the water.
Now, this is where my phobia comes out. I have a phobia of deep water, mostly because of the unknown beneath the deep water.
Which you can hear about on our episode, Common Phobias.
But if you are a fan of Lords of the Rings, maybe the water dug a little too deep.
Ooh.
Maybe the water dug a
You
little
mean the dwarves dug a little bit too
dwarves
deep
dug
into
a
the
little
mine? And
No, I'm just making a thing.
hey,
Good job, Josh.
We're talking about this, but if you actually dive into the Tolkien lore, which one of these times we'll have to do, it'd be really fun. He actually has these unknown and unnamed things, such as the Watcher, the squid thing that comes out, the tentacle thing that comes out, is something like he has a bunch of these monsters that are just in the depths of Middle Earth that are rarely spoken about. And it's kind of interesting because I think people are just fascinated with the idea of unknown monsters
100%.
and unknown depths, especially when you just are unfamiliar with a lot of these things. And again, it hits here, like people are just excited. I mean, and they're starting to get visitors, people coming up,
A ton of people.
all these different things.
Yeah, and I'll point this out too. Life can only exist in certain realms and depths of the sea. So the animals or the fishes and stuff that you see at the beginning of the ocean for the first, several feet don't exist past a certain point because of the pressures and everything.
Yeah, just like the atmosphere has pressures, the oceans have different areas of pressure. Yeah.
So it's very likely that there could be something that exists in the very bottom of Ber-a-lake that we don't see at the top.
Well, the other thing is that there are big fish in Ber-a-lake.
Big fish.
I mean, the muskies alone are gigantic. And they're like 3-4 feet long, if not longer.
I took a polar plunge just the last time we were up there, and there were fish everywhere, and they were probably about 3 feet long.
Big and fish. I mean,
One
they're not.
scared the bejeebus out of me when I was out, because I was out, not scuba diving, but I was out snorkeling.
Oh.
I had the full face snorkel,
Yeah.
which is a lot of fun. If people don't know what that is, look up the full face snorkel. You can do a lot of cool stuff with it. And so I'm out there swimming around, and as I'm swimming around, I'm noticing nothing, and I'm like, oh, there's no fish out here. So just hanging out, swimming, having fun, going a little bit further out. And then suddenly I turn and there is this 3-foot fish at my foot.
Yeah.
And now,
And that's in the shallows. I mean, you think about
yeah.
that. That's the
I
shallows
say
of
it's
Ber-a-lake.
only 10 feet.
Yeah.
It was probably about 10 feet.
Yeah.
And now again, phobia of the depth. And because of that, I tend to have a little bit of
Active imagination.
fish phobia in certain areas when it gets deep. So this is probably as far out as I would ever go.
Did you scream?
I did.
Did you go?
I did.
What was is that Mr. Incredibles? I was like,
Yeah.
When he finds the what is it?
One of the dead super.
hey, no,
Yes.
it's the bomb that comes down.
Oh yes, yeah, that comes down and he runs away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
then
think when he yelled is when he found the dead thing.
The
Was
dead
it?
guy he found in the cave.
Yeah, that he
comes
swam
under
up
the
to.
cave. So
But anyway.
I credited Incredibles too.
so anyway, so this goes on for a while. Another person up there, William Budge.
William Budge.
He wrote a letter to the editor of the Ogden Junction saying that also he and his friends had also seen a monster, but they said that it was only about 5 to 6 feet long.
And had the head of a walrus without tusks.
Yep.
And
And
that's very possible.
so it's like the animal's flat, very wide between the eyes and tapering to the nose with very full, large blue eyes, prominent ears, and ears resembling those of a horse, but scarcely as long. The whole face and shape was like that of a fox, but so large that the space between eyes equaled the distance between the eyes of a common cow. It did not look ferocious, and was in no hurry to go. Just
kind of
staring
was-
him down.
It's like, hey, what are you doing?
So, I mean, this just sounds like a Muppet to me. Just hanging out.
Hey,
a little bit of a
you
larger Muppet.
guys. I don't know why that came to mind, but
I was going to say that would be the Goonies.
yeah, wrong something. I don't know. Wrong universe.
So, but I do always like that. I mean, here you have a creature that, you look at, and the best way to describe it is comparing it to the animals,
Sure.
Yeah.
And it's just funny when we hear about it, it's just like, that sounds like the most outrageously weird looking thing I've
Until
ever
you
heard.
look at a plesiosaur, and then you're like,
I feel like that makes a little bit more sense.
Here's the crazy thing about Ber-a-lake, and maybe we should talk about a little bit more about old Joseph a little bit. So the reality is Joseph, a couple years later,
26 years later,
came out and said it was a big lie. Literally, he said, let's see, his exact words were, it was a wonderful first-class lie.
I like how he described that to himself.
And he goes on to actually explain, well, okay, it is purported that he goes on to explain that he did this for a couple different reasons. One, he was courting a girl down in Salt Lake, and he really wanted her to come up and move to Ber-a-lake.
It's always for a girl.
Number two, he wanted more people to come up because he really did love the place.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have a problem with this because...
With the lie?
Yeah, the reporting of the lie, because I looked all over for this lie. I dug deep into the archives of where this is purported, because it says it on Wikipedia. If you go on Wikipedia right now, it literally says that, oh yeah, this is a hoax, this is the lie, this is what was reported. But I went to go and look where that actual source came from and could not for the life of me find it. And I went so far as to call the church history and say, hey, I'm seeing this book about Joseph C. Rich. Is there an access to it? Is it like I can only come in and look at it? Or can I have, is it online? And they're like, well, we're not seeing it on any of our archives or records. And
Danny looked way more into this than I did.
Well, and here's the other thing. So it has two sources. The second source definitely does have this quote in it from him, but it was written years and years and years later. The other couple problems that I have with the story of this being a hoax, and I'm not saying this is real, but in some of the correspondence that happened literally a month and a half later, in the Millennial Star. Do you guys know what the Millennial Star is?
Yeah.
So the Millennial Star was the newspaper that the LDS Church put out. In the Millennial Star, they write an article where they go up and they talk to his father, Charles C. Rich, and all of the different brethren of Ber-a-lake Valley. And they say, let's see, right here, we should conclude that there are very few, if any, persons in Ber-a-lake Valley who doubt the statements which have been made. The Indians' traditions corroborate all that has been said of these creatures. It is well known that the Indians will not camp near the lake, and they have never been known to bathe in the waters. They have persisted in stating that there is terrible monsters at the lake, of which they were in fear. Two of their tribe having, with memory of some of their number, been carried off by them. If one or two persons only had seen and described them, it might be set down. Even they were persons of good judgment and credibility as an optical delusion, but they have been lately seen by numbers and at different times and places, and their descriptions agree, and they also agree with the accounts of the Indians. So here's my thing. I do think that Joseph C. Rich more than likely came up with the story based off of his understanding of the Shoshone legend, because the Shoshones do have a legend, and their legend kind of corroborates that there's something in the waters here. And he made up the names of the people in the article, but I think that there were people up there that believed in this thing and believed it like strongly enough that they were kind of scared about what was going on.
Yeah, say when they went up there, they asked people, and people were like, "Oh no, we think it's true." It's really interesting when you have it. So and since then, we've had much time since,
Sure, this was 1868.
Yeah,
so it was a long time ago.
We have had a lot of time since then where people have still stated that they've seen something.
Yeah.
Something out there, whether it be a monster or whether it be something large that they just don't know what to explain. It has been something that creeps up every few years. I can't remember. I think the last one was in like 2004. I don't have it on here.
2002 was what is purported from a business owner in Ber-a-lake. Was the last person who publicly admitted that he had seen something.
Yeah. Now, I had a teacher who he had a friend that he said had gotten together, and they actually had a dive team, and they actually were able to dive down further into the depths of Ber-a-lake. And they were able to go down. And they kept going down as far as they could go. And while they were down there, this friend had kind of the flashlight going up and around, and he actually, while he was doing it, he turned the flashlight and he said that there were two large eyes that were reflecting off of what the flashlight's light was coming off. So he turned, and suddenly there were two large eyes that were almost as big as his whole person. And so, I mean, this is pretty far down.
Yeah.
And so, and there was one of those things where he just kind of, he sat there with the flashlight on, waiting for it to react, and the thing eventually turned and swam away into the darkness of the depths type of thing. So, again, phobia. Does Jake go out? Jake's favorite place is Ber-a-lake. Does Jake go out in the middle of Ber-a-lake? No, Jake does not. I'm pretty skeptical of a lot of the monsters of land and air. The monsters of the deep, though, I will admit, those are ones that you just are never 100% sure on, because there's been a lot of weird things that have happened where, I mean, even out in oceans, like I'm sure we'll talk about things like great white sharks getting bitten in half.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And things like that in Australia. I mean, the giant squid was thought to be just a myth, and then they found one.
Mm-hmm.
So things like that. So, I mean, is it possible there's something in Ber-a-lake? Is it possible that it's something that doesn't come to the surface? Yes. There might be something that just lives really far down into Ber-a-lake,
Sure.
and we just don't know what it is.
I mean, it could also be one of the things that I keep coming back to is it could just be a giant fish. I mean, it really could just be a big old fish that is just kind of surfacing every once in a while. And it doesn't have to be that big to kind of really kind of remove your ability to judge like the size of it. I mean, it could be
3 feet scared Jake.
Yeah. It could be something that's 7-8 feet that comes up and goes down, and you know that's enough for people to go, there's a 30-foot thing out there, because your perception on water is just all wonky.
But I'm going to be the devil's advocate.
Dun 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 dun.
What are you going to be devil's
Dun
advocate
dun
about?
dun dun dun.
The Ber-a-lake monster has a lot of similar ties to another of our lovely friends across the pond, the Loch Ness monster.
Nessie.
Now, I want to go back to my comments earlier. Has the water gone too deep because of the thing? Did you know that Loch Ness is formed the exactly same way as Ber-a-lake, in the sense that it is a crack in the Earth's surface that is continuing to open? Now, Loch Ness is 708 feet, which is way deeper than Ber-a-lake,
Sure.
but it has the same purported monster.
Well, and I can't help but wonder, because the sociologist in me goes, the people that were settling up near Ber-a-lake at the time,
We're Scottish.
a lot of them could have ancestors that were from Scotland and were very aware of the Loch Ness monster. Because you go into the Loch Ness like lore, and the Loch Ness has been purported and was first like written down and purported at 550 AD. I mean, it is an old tale that they've been talking about this monster. And so you can't help but, if you're from Scotland, you're moving with a bunch of people to a brand new place, but it feels semi-familiar. It's in a highlands kind of area, and there's a big blue lake right next to you that's really similar to, you know, Iverness or in the Ness and everything like that. You can't help but go, I wonder if there's a monster in this one too. And then your mind starts to play tricks on you, you know?
Or has the lake just gone too deep?
I don't know.
And I've been up a Ber-a-lake where 1 second it's pristine, and the next second a giant windstorm comes in,
and it's terrible.
And the waves are gigantic. There was one time, I remember my wife and I were up there, and I want to say it was in May, so it was before a lot of people were going out, but I was in there, and we went to a restaurant, and the local sheriff came into the restaurant to grab some pickup, and he was talking with the guy in the back, and he said he's like, yeah, I'm dealing with something fun right now. There's 2 boats that are out there just rolling across Ber-a-lake because the waves were so strong. They just started rolling, and thankfully we rescued the people, but the boats are just out there just twirling around. So, I mean, it was big enough that it could pull stuff, and easily, I mean, if there were any type of vegetation, I mean, if a log fell in there,
Oh yeah.
and you have the big waves and the log coming in and out,
yeah,
I'm sure that
yeah.
would make even me poop my pants.
Well, and once again, it's mysterious enough and it's weird enough that I don't want to like just say, oh, it can't be anything, because the Shoshone, their tales match up real carefully to what is purported in some of these articles. Even Joseph's kind of spoof article, there's definitely some, he's pulling from somewhere, and it's probably from this tale that the Shoshone were saying.
Yeah.
Now, the Shoshone could also be misinterpreting things that are happening in the water. They talk about not bathing in the water because of the danger, like that people remember like people dying in the water, and it very well could be just the really kind of odd weather systems that run through Ber-a-lake sometimes.
Yeah. Just another story, a personal story of somebody, he was actually a leader of mine, went up there and the weather changed so quick, and his boat was anchored. So he was only in, 3-4 feet of water, and the waves flipped the boat on top of his foot and exploded his foot.
Oh.
It popped. And so like Ber-a-lake, for all those who know, it's pretty shallow for quite a long ways, and then it drops off. And so the waves are minuscule. But thinking that in an instant, waves can be enough to flip a boat in those shallow waters and cause that type of damage.
Now we're going to go a little bit into the human condition here, but isn't it interesting? So here you have what would be considered a lie, what we can consider kind of a legend at this point.
Sure.
Of this magnitude, that it gets the attention of everyone really quick. I mean, leaders, political and religious, newspapers, tourists, really quick. And it's one of those, it's like, how does something like that become so believable to so many people? And what does that say about us as humans wanting to have something like that they can look at either for a good story, even if it's not true?
Oh, I've always wondered that, because I love the idea of folklore as a mirror to humanity. Like when you look at our folklore, it tells more about our fears and more about our faith than anything else out there, and what we're willing to believe in. And so it's so fascinating to me that you have what in the paranormal world they call flaps. Mm-hmm. You hear of the UFO flap. This would be considered the Ber-a-lake monster flap, or you have like the Bigfoot flap. These times where an idea gets stuck in a society and a tale becomes a legend, where one simple story will all of a sudden be blown out of proportion, and all of a sudden you've got communities, you've got cities, you've got whole civilizations that are now claiming that, oh yeah, no, we know that this is the truth. We know the story. Like, is Joseph's tale a fake tale that influenced a community just to be like, oh yeah, no, this is happening? Or is it the other way around? I don't know. I think I tend to think that it might be the first. It might be people wanted to believe that there was something special about the lake, that there was something unique about there, something exciting, something fun, and went for it. But I don't know.
Well, and it's for me, it's also one of those that, like, if you've come across to a new place, and it just kind of keeps bringing out more and more exciting things. And I think it's, for a lot of people, it's like, oh, there's something else that's exciting here. I like this.
Yeah.
This is good.
Yep. I think it goes back to our evolution. We have always been, the human evolutionary trait is to hide.
Yeah.
To always be frightened by something that could eat us, that's bigger than us. Our ape-like friends, that's how they were. You climb trees to get away from the predators below. And so I think for us now that we're the dominant species on the earth, we have to still feel fear somehow.
Sure.
Our mind plays those tricks.
We need to have something to be fearful of.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's also the fun belief that all of our fears have got to be based on something for evolution, because if not, they would have been wiped away by evolution. The way the evolution works. Natural selection, if it's not going to preserve us, then it's going to go away. So the idea of maybe we're scared of something big in the water because there was a very good reason for our ancestors to be scared of something big in the water.
Sharks.
Maybe not even just sharks, maybe
Snakes.
or just, giant serpents, giant animals in the water that were killing and eating our ancestors.
Oh, did you just hear? I can't remember. I was reading about it. They just found a 20-foot fossil of a snake.
Yep.
Oh, well, see what we're going to have to talk
Anaconda type stuff going on. There.
in a future paranormal episode. We'll have to talk about legendary snakes because there's even purported pictures of like people taking pictures of 40, 50-foot snakes in Africa.
Yeah, there's not to completely derail the whole situation, they did an aerial view of the Amazon, and there was a break near the river, and the aerial view, they could show the shadow of the tree. Okay, Amazon trees are really tall.
Yeah.
This figure that was snake-like looking was probably 3 times the size of one of the tree shadows, meaning that the snake was probably upwards to like 100, 150 feet.
See, that's that kind of stuff.
That's we'll have to talk about the Amazon one of these times.
Creeps me out. Well, we've got Utah. Utah stuff is so fascinating because, we start talking about Ber-a-lake. Let's just in general. We haven't even gone on to like the cave systems that are around Ber-a-lake.
No.
Yeah.
Like you've got Minnetonka Cave, which was, it's a very recently discovered cave. It was only discovered in like 1900s, but there are cave systems all throughout there that have their own kind of weird legends. They talk about like the Wolfman of Utah is supposedly up near that kind of area.
I say we're going to talk about that later, but I don't know if we're going to have the time. Are we? What time? How much time we have left?
Yeah, we're getting through.
Okay. Another question that I want to ask is so this is kind of what you would probably consider an early example of what we now call fake news, whatever. But
Sure.
it's an early example of
Clickbait.
Yep.
Yeah.
To really get people in. And do you think hoaxes like this are easier to pull off now, or do you think they were easier to pull off back then and like now?
That's a crazy, interesting question.
Because like we have so much media, so it's easier to get stuff out. But are we susceptible to it, or do you find that maybe we're a little bit less because of how much other crap is out there right now?
I speaking only on behalf of myself, I'm way more skeptical. Let's try that again. Skeptical of like these kind of stories if they're coming from like nowadays, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like if I see something come across like my Instagram reels or Facebook or even on like just like Google News or something that's saying, oh yeah, asteroid coming to destroy half of Africa guided by aliens, the very first thing that I'm going to do is roll my eyes. Like I'm not going to believe stuff like that. And even like some of the simple like tales of like even like the ghost stories, you know what I'm talking about? Like there's a haunted house. I'm most of the time I'm gonna be like, no, more than likely you left like your air conditioner on or something, and that's what's making these kind of things. Ooh. But what's weird is that, and maybe it's like a psychological thing, I'm more inclined to believe the tales if they happened a long time ago. And if they're repeated again and again and again, like the Ber-a-lake monster, I'm more inclined to believe the story because there's such a history of the story being around, even if it was connected to a famous hoax.
And I don't think we've pointed out, it is part of the culture up there. They used to have
100%.
a tour boat that would go around Ber-a-lake in the shape of a monster that we used to see. Even I remember growing up at one of the
it looked
docks.
Almost looked like a Viking boat. Yeah.
Kind of a tour boat of sorts.
But it was a pontoon boat that they would take tours on that was shaped in a monster.
Well, you guys remember when it was just parked up on the beach?
Yeah. And I remember like when we were in Boy Scouts and we would go to Ber-a-lake that was the tales that everybody told.
Oh yeah.
One of Dad's famous tales of when he scared everybody up at Ber-a-lake was because of the Ber-a-lake monster. Like the story that he talked about.
Don't go near the lake during the nighttime or you'll be drug in.
Real, like literally, like he spun a story that I've never seen him do again, but he spun this perfect story that was talking about history and fur trappers, and he was talking about the Ber-a-lake monster, and it scared us all half to death.
See, and that's a perfect segue into what I was going to say is nowadays people just pull things out of their butt. But back then, to write a good story that could catch on, you had to be a very darn good storyteller.
Yeah.
And those people that did give those ideas that caught on did make it so much better than I feel like today.
I do think that in the old days, even a couple, we'll even say 50 years ago, like
the 70s.
Yeah, literally, like even like the 70s, 60s, anything before the 70s and 60s, I think people were less skeptical and more taking things on faith. I mean, when you look at the early pioneers, they were spinning tales about everything that was happening going on. Like there was Cain is walking around like Bigfoot, and there's so many different things that are happening. So it's an interesting question, Jake. That's a thinker.
We'll have to talk about it more in the human condition when
human condition,
because that's all I ever want to talk about. So, I mean, what's funny is there is a lot of, when I was looking into some of these, I mean, there's actually quite a number of stories, not only at Ber-a-lake, but I mean, like, you have monsters that are believed to be in Utah Lake.
Yep.
Which is crazy. I don't know how anything lives in there.
I say you have these worms. You have these whales that live supposedly in the Great Salt Lake.
The Great Salt Lake whales.
Yeah. Yep.
So you had this guy who decided to transport some whales from Australia over here.
Supposedly.
It was believed that the enclosure broke and they escaped into the Great Salt Lake. And people thought nothing of it, but then there were some people that cited what they thought were whales spouting water and playing and then moving around. So now, with how far down the Great Salt Lake's going, I don't know if that's going to be something that,
like I said, it's only
but
32 feet. I mean, that's as long as a whale. I mean,
that would suck.
I'm going to probably jump ahead big time. That kind of falls along with another story that I heard of one of Utah's paranormal that is closer to our family than most, which is the white ape. That it was a pet brought from a different place
that escaped,
got out, and lives in the mountains.
Yeah. And I think we talked about the white ape. Did we say this full story?
I think we talked a little bit about it. Yeah.
For those that don't remember, so our uncle used to tell a story of coming back from a youth activity and having dropped off girls, and where our grandparents lived at the time was right at the mouth of one of our big canyons, literally called Big Cottonwood Canyon. Mm-hmm. And him coming back, and it was later at night.
I'll preface, this was during the time of Ted Bundy, and that's why he was
dropping. Yeah. So to protect the girls that they were with, they were dropping everybody off. So it took a little bit longer. He was coming back late at night, and he saw quite literally a white ape sitting on the fence. Mm-hmm. And it shocked him so much, he kind of was stunned. Thing ran off, and he went inside. And the thing that always creeped me out about that story more than anything is just how mundane it was.
Yeah.
Like the white ape didn't threaten him. He didn't come off the fence and like do voodoo at him. It was just here's this giant white monkey sitting on a fence, and I can see it, and then it disappeared.
And it saw me, and it ran away.
And I wasn't doing drugs that we know of.
Yeah.
He did go in and pee his pants.
But here's the thing is,
at least that's how he would always end up with all of us.
The other thing is the way he told it. It was like, oh my gosh, he believes everything he's saying. Like it's not just a story he's telling. This is a legit thing that is in his mind.
Yeah.
And he loved hunting.
Yeah, and
being
he hunted
outdoors.
everywhere.
So I mean, he could have easily shared.
Yeah, he could have spun a tall tale.
Yeah, outdoors.
And I think that's also where there's validity in going back to what your question is sometimes the mundane scares me more than the like unnecessary details that people will put into stuff. You know, when you look at like folklore, and if I see too many weird little details or too many odd actions, that's when I'm kind of like, I don't believe it. Like, you know, we'll go back to my asteroid and the aliens thing. If the aliens and the asteroids, we know the name of the alien, blah, blah, and there's just all this detail and there's a trajectory, I'm less inclined to believe it. Where I'm more inclined to believe someone that comes up to me and says, last night I saw something weird in the sky and I can't explain it.
Mm-hmm.
And it sure seemed to me like it was something, like it wasn't a plane. It wasn't something like that, which is what the white ape was.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of things. So Bigfoot is a big thing in Utah, and we've
talked about it.
might just call this episode the Ber-a-lake Monster because we've kind of run semi out of time. We've got about another 10 minutes, and so I want to stick with the Ber-a-lake Monster just a little bit longer. Yeah. But we are in the future going to be talking about other Utah cryptids because there's Old Briny. You guys ever heard of Old Briny? Oh, it's fantastic. The giant brine shrimp in the Great Salt Lake.
Really?
100%, yeah. Yeah, Old Briny is a giant brine. There is the water babies, which is the creepiest.
See, the water babies scared me.
The water babies, and so this is just kind of one of those like
the red-haired giants.
The red-haired giants.
The red-haired pygmies.
See, and I know about that one, and that scares me because it's not just one native tribe that believes it. It's like
a lot
all
of them.
The native tribes.
Well,
believe
they
it.
have actual. I think they have actual
evidence.
Bodies of the pygmies.
Yeah.
So
the dire wolf.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's getting a little closer to like the Skinwalker Ranch stuff.
Yep. The Wolfman in Provo.
The Wolfman of Provo, the Utah werewolf.
The North Shore monsters.
Yep. I have this fun little picture. You guys see my fun little picture?
That's cute.
That has all of them on
Does that have all the monsters?
I love it so much. Put it in my little notebook.
Well, I want to share. While I was looking around, I popped on Reddit, and I wanted to share this little story. This isn't necessarily about the Ber-a-lake Monster, but someone shared this. They said, my experience is not about the Utah Lake Monster or the Ber-a-lake Monster. I had an experience at a lake located in Utah in the 90s. Myself, my sisters, and my dad's friend, and a few people fishing and crayfish fishing around us all saw a creature that resembled an Elasmosaurus or Tenystropheus. I have no idea how to pronounce that.
The long-necked swimming monster.
Yes. All of a sudden, the waves started to get bigger, and then we saw it swimming in the water, and then the creature came up out of the water, lifting its snake-like, dragon-like head and very long neck out of the water. It did look like there were scales on the head and neck. You could see its body peeking out of the water along the length of the creature. Its body was going into the water and out of the water, like part of the body in and part of the body out. It was very long. It was way longer than a Mack truck. The size of the thing was so huge. If you were in the area, there's no way you didn't see it. Everyone around us saw it, was saying things like, "What's that? Did you see that? What is it? Oh my goodness, it's a dragon. It's a lake monster." It was swimming in Starvation Reservoir. There's got to be a huge tunnel for this humongous creature to travel through, as well as a very large caves and deep water to hide in. He said, when I told my parents about it, they didn't believe me, but then they talked to everyone else that was there, and everyone else was saying, "Hey, we saw something," and it was big. It was scary. Through the years, I've looked all over, even online, for people who may have been there and seen it, but I can't seem to find anyone else that has stories or experiences. So he actually posted this story in hopes to find someone else who might have shared a similar story. He said, if I had money, I would go to boat and a bunch of technical equipment and cameras, and we would go out and searching. So there you go. For all of you that are going to Starvation, look around. You never know. Is Starvation still around?
Starvation Reservoir. Starvation Reservoir is in Duchesne. It is not too far away from some other kind of that's
fun stuff.
Sketchy.
Pretty darn close to
Dinosaur
Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah, and some other things. What's funny is Starvation isn't that old of a dam. I think the dam was like created in the 1970s. So how weird is that?
Yeah, completed in 1970.
Was there something in a cave system around there that was hanging out and then got awoken?
That, or, we do have some.
I just choked on my own oxygen doing that.
We have some good size. Yeah.
This would make a good story. Anyone else want to write a story about this? That'd be awesome.
It's so, when you said crawdads, I thought you were going to go
strawberry,
but Starvation has crawdads too. But both of those are man-made, and they're both fairly recent. But,
People see stuff.
people see stuff.
And it just makes you curious, and you're like, wow, that's kind of interesting. So,
Well, and talking about some of the tribes around here, the Ute tribes have all sorts of different tales about like giant fish, giant monsters, and like even what's that reservoir near the reservation? I think it's Bottle Hollow.
I don't know.
Bottle Hollow.
Hold on. Bottle Hollow Reservoir. Like that was made in the 1970s too. That the Ute tribe actually built for a reservoir. And they have stories of monsters in there. And it's like I said, it's in the 1970s. That's only 50 years ago.
Yeah.
We're just making nesting grounds for the monsters.
That, or something that even creeps me out slightly more, and maybe this is a good thing to end on, is us making these unnaturally large bodies of water, or being close to unnatural large bodies of water, inviting something else.
Ooh.
Going a little bit more deep into the Mormon LDS lore.
We're inviting bad stuff.
Something has powers over the waters, gentlemen.
Ooh.
So, I don't know.
Which if you actually read about and you see other people that are like,
Yeah.
here's my skeptic coming out.
Yeah.
But one thing I find, it's so fascinating because this is where I do enjoy some of the stories, because we have these beliefs that like there's some stuff that is extinct and has been extinct for a long time. But then it's interesting when you do hear these Native American tales, or even tribal tales of other places. Some of them are like, oh no, my great grandpa talked about hunting a mammoth, or something like that, where it's like they've seen things that for us we thought are extinct or away. What is it? I can't remember where it is, but they have that one ruins that has an image of a stegosaurus.
Yep, I was actually just looking that up. That's in South America. They just discovered hieroglyphs. This was maybe like 10 years ago or more. They discovered a hieroglyph in a cave, and it is a man riding a stegosaurus-looking creature.
See, that's crazy to me.
You have things like that, or you have there was a mummified dinosaur they found, and so there's things like that where you're just like, hey, you know what?
Maybe we don't know.
I say I'm pretty skeptical when it comes to a lot of these other monsters out there, but like when it comes to these things that look like dinosaurs,
The cryptids.
and some of the stuff, I'm a little bit more like, okay, I can understand, especially in the water. Just because for us, I mean, especially the ocean is still so unknown.
80% has not been explored.
We have so much water. I mean, there could easily be so much stuff in the Arctic.
Yep.
In Antarctica.
Under the ice sheets.
Things like that we just were not aware of. So.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Jake. I think that, we talked about Bigfoot a little while ago, and Bigfoot to me is kind of on the edge of incredulity. It's like, I doubt it. But some of these other monsters that you hear about, especially the water monsters, or even some of like the deep forest monsters, there's a part of me that goes, I'm not going to discount them quite yet, because all it would take is, the last of its kind being around for a little while, and maybe they are extinct now, but maybe they weren't 100 years ago.
Maybe they live a long time.
Maybe they lived a lot longer than we thought.
So bottom line, if there's anything we need to take from this is just, don't go outside.
Even in your favorite part of the world, Ber-a-lake.
Just don't go outside. Do you know
outside.
what I like doing at Ber-a-lake? Staying inside and watching people walk by. I'm a people watcher, and I apologize. So if you see me, I love watching people.
He's going to stare into your soul.
I love watching. I mean, part of it is like my psychology background. It just made me very interested and invested in behaviors and stuff like that. So I love watching people.
Okay, final words. We are at that time. Joshua, final words from you.
Final words, I believe.
Yeah,
I believe that there are some things in the deep. There were dwarves that just kept digging. They dug a little too deep. And instead of oh my gosh, I can't remember their names. coming out from the deep is the Ber-a-lake monster.
It's the Ber-a-lake monster.
No, absolute. I believe that there are things on this earth that we think are extinct that could be possibly here. They have found creatures they thought were extinct that had been mentioned hundreds of years ago of going extinct, and they found them again.
Sure.
And so I definitely believe that there are creatures that are out there that we don't know about that will terrify us.
I want to believe in the famous words of Fox Mulder. I would like to believe, and what I think I like the whimsy of the story too. I like the thought that this place that I've been to my entire life, multiple times a year, where I have dipped my feet in and swam in this beautiful lake of which I hold dear, not quite as dear as Jake, but I do hold the place very dear to my heart. Could hold some mysteries in it that just make me want to keep going back again and again. Okay, Jake, end us.
Don't go outside. Don't go swimming at night. Don't believe everything you see on the internet, unless you like that. And if you do get eaten by a giant lake monster, please take a picture.
Or at least shout out an exact description as he's eating you.
He has a 3-foot head.
Definitely here.
Sharp teeth.
Well, thank you all for joining us on the Twaddling Along podcast Paranormal Week. Next week, it is the human condition, and it is Joshua. Josh, any idea of what we're going to be talking about yet?
Well, you said that it will probably be our anniversary, and so we might be talking some anniversary-ish thing.
I love it. Yes, that is correct, people. We are coming to our year mark. We have been at this for a year. We have roughly about 40 episodes down, which is a good amount. I was thinking about it, that there's 40 hours of us just talking on the internet, which is kind of creepy.
Poor people.
Oh, they're going to.
Should we release a picture of us topless eating our little first birthday cake with just mess?
We'll do it for you, Josh.
Oh, perfect. That will be next week's
we'll just have
animation.
Josh doing it. That will be our picture of Josh just eating.
Yeah.
In the meantime, go back and listen to a couple of our other podcasts if you've missed them. Specifically, go back and you can listen to us talk about phobias, because we talked about deep water phobias. You can listen to our Bigfoot podcast, where we talked a little bit about Bigfoot. You can even go back and listen to one of our paranormal Utah stories about the ghosts of Utah. That's kind of a fun one. All of these and more coming up on the Twaddling Along podcast. Continue to listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts, and we will see you next week.
See you later.
And just remember